My name is Kylie Bork,
And my name is Emily Foray.
and we're going to be talking about our case study.
Our athlete's name is Baylor Fontenot. She is a 16-year-old Caucasian female. She weighs 115 pounds. She's a high school softball player, and her position is center field. She is 5'4". The softball season first officially starts in January, which is when the first practice is held. The first game is in February. Championships are in May. Baylor has no prior injuries and no known health conditions.
So, what is softball? Softball is a game between two teams. The sport involves a larger ball than baseball. There are 7 innings, and the goal is to score more points than the other team. One team hits the ball while the other team plays defense. When looking at the mental aspect of the sport, it's very important. You have to have an ability to focus during a game and practice. You have to have the ability to let go of mistakes and get ready for the next play. And you have to have all-around mental toughness to be able to take criticism from your coach and use it. If you let mistakes affect you, then you're going to end up making more mistakes. You have to be able to let things go. If you're not in it mentally, then you're not going to play your best. Above, you can see some of the main muscles used while swinging the bat, throwing the ball, and running. While swinging the bat, some of the muscles being used are the external obliques and internal obliques, triceps brachii, wrist extensors and flexors, and the pronator quadratus, the erector spinae, and the trapezius. The deltoid rotator cuff, tricep brachii, external and internal obliques, and the latissimus dorsi are important when throwing the ball. And while running, there's emphasis on the gluteus maximus, the hamstrings, the calves, and the quadriceps.
There are many possible injuries that Baylor may be at risk for while she is playing softball. Overuse injuries both in the elbow or shoulder. Such injuries are common from repeatedly throwing the ball and or swinging the bat. Knee tendonitis may occur from constant pounding on the joints when running the bases or in the outfield. Although softball is not a collision sport, there is a risk for collision injuries. Baylor may collide with another player when running for a ball in the outfield or even when sliding into a base. Ankle sprains may also occur, possibly from her position or running the bases. If Baylor has a weak area, this area will also be more susceptible to injury. It is important to keep in mind the personal goals of your athlete. Baylor's personal goals are to attend the University of Florida to play college softball for the Florida Gators. To improve her throwing biomechanics, she wants a stronger, faster throw, and to have a quicker base running speed.
Before we could begin Baylor's periodization program, pre-tests were performed in order to get baseline information. Tests were done for agility, speed, aerobic endurance, and she also had to have a physical signed by a doctor. For the T-test, her score was considered good, and it was 11 seconds to complete. For speed, base running was done. Baylor had to run from home to first, and her score was average at 3.0 seconds, and she also had to run from home to home, average 11.55 seconds. For aerobic endurance, we did yo-yo intermittent test, and she ran 1,000 meters and was at a level of 15.6. Her VO2 max was 42.8.
We gathered baseline information on Baylor's flexibility and strength and power. We performed 2 flexibility tests. On the shoulder reach, she scored fair, which is less than 2 inches apart. On the sit and reach, she scored positive 4 inches, which is average. We perform several strength and power tests as well. Her 1 rep max squat is 89 pounds. Her 1 rep max bench is 55 pounds. Her 1 rep max clean is 51 pounds. And her hand grip strength is average, which ranges from 57 to 66 pounds.
Pre-tests were done for agility and speed because it is important for Baylor to get to the ball and run the bases in a quick manner. She has a lot of field to cover in center field and has to be able to efficiently change direction in case the wind takes the ball in a different direction. Aerobic endurance tests were done because it is important for Baylor to be prepared for long days of practice as well as days where there are multiple games.
Pre-tests were done for strength and power. Upper body strength is important for throwing and hitting the ball efficiently. Core strength is also important for throwing and hitting the ball. You want the athlete to be able to make explosive movements during plays, such as charging the ball or hitting the ball with more force. Pre-tests were also done for flexibility. It is important for the athlete to have an improved range of motion in shoulder joints and in the lower body. You want your athlete to be able to move efficiently and quickly on the softball field.
The macrocycle is broken into 3 periods: preparatory, competition, and transition. The mesocycles are off-season and preseason, which both occur in the preparatory period, in-season, which is in the competition period, and postseason, which is during the transition period. For the preseason, the focus is on strength and power as well as sport-specific drills. For off-season, the main goal is hypertrophy, basic strength, and endurance. Maintenance is the main goal during the competition period. And during the postseason, the goal is to let the athlete rest their body and mind. They should stay active, but not be doing and they should be doing things other than softball.
The goal for the macrocycle is to strengthen and improve athletic performance. The goals for the seasons within a mesocycle was discussed on the previous slide with Kylie. So looking at the microcycles, each season has an individual intensity and volume. For off-season, in order to achieve hypertrophy, an athlete must lift 50 to 75% of their 1 rep max, doing 3 to 6 sets of 8 to 20 reps. To maintain basic strength, lifting 80 to 95% of their 1 rep max, doing 2 to 6 sets of 2 to 6 reps. For preseason, high loads and low volumes, which would be 30 to 95% of 1 rep max, doing 2 to 5 sets of 2 to 5 reps. During competition, high intensity with moderate volume, doing 2 to 5 sets of 3 to 6 reps. And for postseason, the playing season of the sport is over now, so the athlete should be working on resting their body and mind.
The exercises and stretches shown above are going to be done before every practice and workout. This is going to prepare Baylor's body for whatever she's going to do next. In the off-season, the main focus is hypertrophy and basic strength. The first 2 months of the off-season will consist of resistance training 3 days a week. The resistance training days increase the last 2 months to 4 days a week. As you can see above, the off-season for Baylor is from August to November. The preparatory phase is focusing on getting Baylor ready for competition. This phase puts emphasis on strength, power, speed, as well as sport-specific drills and lifts. The preseason is from December to January for Baylor. Each workout is 3 days a week and repeated for 4 weeks. This year, the LHSAA stated that the first practice can occur on January 14th. The athlete cannot touch a ball or a bat before that time. In January, the agility ladder and base running is included. Agility ladder drills could consist of 1 foot in each block, 2 feet in each block, ladder crossover, and many others. Base running could consist of home to first, home to third, and home to home. Situational running could also be implemented and beneficial to the athlete.
For the competitive phase, the focus is to maintain the strength and conditioning that was gained during the off-season and preseason. The goal is to have a high intensity but with moderate volume. Each workout is repeated for 4 weeks. Resistance training occurs 2 times a week. You do not want to overdo it and tire out the athlete, so that's something that needs to be watched for. The first game occurs in February, while playoffs are in May.